A wispy fog rolls across the ground of the autumn wood, curling around your boots. The runes you threw and the planets have aligned to tell you that today is the day you've been waiting for. The moon will be high and full tonight, and the branches of the trees seem to part for you as you walk, as if inviting you to collect what you need. And you need a lot, because you're going to make a friend. But first, you scan the tree branches and slow your steps through the forest. Smoke from your hearth lingers on your clothes, and you stop to inhale deeply, savoring it. A slow exhalation, and then you continue your walk on soft feet covered in warm boots. The coffee you savored this morning is working its own magic, warming your stomach. You smile at the memory of it, chocolatey and rich with a sprinkle of cinnamon. You savored each small sip while you looked out the window, your hair still mussed from sleeping well in a warm bed. You looked back at your kitchen and smiled before walking over to place a checkered cloth over the rising dough, resting at the bottom of a bright copper bowl. Then you finished your coffee and strapped on your boots. With your broom in hand, you pushed open your wooden door, sparing one last look at the rising dough you covered. After all, it's the most important reagent, and you'll need it later. In the forest, the damp fog begins to roll back, pulling you from your memories. The path is welcoming and beckoning as more and more of the woods becomes visible. The many branching trails each call for you in their own way. You hear the chatter of squirrels and excited birds above the rainbow of tree leaves. Every shade from the deepest orange to the brightest red, a riot of color. Mother Nature's quiet parade. You turn your gaze up, taking in the leaves, but more importantly, the branches, searching for the first reagent you need. And it can only be harvested now. Your eyes must be sharp. It is a quiet, peaceful walk through the woods while you look. The forest is a marvel, with tree trunks bigger than the couch in your cabin, and tiny baby trees just starting their journey towards the sky. You breathe, savoring this time, this connection to something bigger than yourself. It is a warm, deep breath in through your nose, feeling your ribs press against your chest, then an exhalation. The soft, quiet release of your breath. You watch it disappear into the woods. And on your 7th breath, you see it, like strands of silver dangling from the trees. The spiderweb spans between 2 branches. Moisture from the fog has left its mark, and the web sparkles in the dim morning sun like diamonds. Each tiny drop reflecting a whole world within it. You creep closer, like a bystander mesmerized by a piece of art. The web is as large as the biggest pot in your kitchen, and it is with a pang of regret you pull out your ash wand. Slowly, like gathering candy floss, you roll your wand through the silken web, wrapping it up, dewdrops and all. You put the wand back carefully into your reagent satchel, drawing it tightly closed. There is a warm feeling of satisfaction deep within your chest. Because you finally started. You have the first reagent. You grasp your broom, letting out a content sigh and thinking happy thoughts. It hovers off the ground, and you rest against it, testing to make sure it will support your weight. The broom lifts off the ground effortlessly. So you straddle it and begin a gentle soar through the forest, gliding just above the tree line. The air is cooler, so you burrow further into your scarf, summoning the memory of the coffee you had as you flex your gloved fingers against the broom handle. You fly quietly, slowly, scanning the red and gold trees for soft little circles dotted with white eggs. Bird nests. You find one after a pleasant ride over a grove of fir trees, tucked between 2 branches. A cozy little home made of soft, warm things. There are raven chicks nestled into each other, napping like kittens. With a silent apology, you hover closer, reaching carefully, oh so carefully, to take 2 discarded feathers from the nest. You hold your breath as you reach over them, not wanting to disturb their rest. But you do admire them, sleeping babes covered in black fuzz. Letting out your breath, you continue on. That was 2 feathers, and you need 9 altogether. Though it's delightful work, you come to realize. Swooping over the forest and feeling like the master of it, and seeing that you might as well be. You're the only one around for miles, kilometers. After you collect the rest of your feathers, you reach into your satchel. Pulling out the soft, raw wool you brought to say thank you. As you fly back home, you leave bits of it in the branches, so the birds can build comfortable, warm nests for the winter. The sight of your cabin peeking out through the trees is welcome. Teal shingles poke out from the tops of the trees, with a merry little curl of smoke from your chimney, winding its way through the sky. Warmth hits you when you open the door, and the sight of your little cabin in the woods is domestic bliss. It's cozy, 2 stories. There's a long wooden ladder leading up to a laboratory, and the walls are lined with bookshelves bursting with books, reagents, and valuable scraps of paper that poke through the pages of every tome. The late afternoon sun pours in through the square glass windows, shining on the brass pots in your small kitchen and wood-burning stove. Shedding your coat and boots and scarf, you walk over to the resting doe covered in a checkered blanket. It's perfect, and you can already see it in your mind, golden and warm. You work with your hands, digging in and shaping it, careful to hold the right image in your mind. The feel of the dough against your fingers is delightful, and there's a joy that comes from shaping something with your hands to be exactly as you wish. In the end, it's a perfect loaf, and you tuck it into the oven, beaming. It's not just bread and spiderwebs and feathers. It's more. It's going to be so much more. You place a hand over your chest and smile, looking again towards the hearth. You pick up your broom and begin to sweep, savoring the swish of the bristles against your wood floor, the gentle, repetitive motion to make something clean and better. Your little cabin is all your own, and there's joy to be found in wiping down the countertops, cleaning the ash from the fireplace, and washing your square windows. An hour later, you're warm from the oven and your work, but your little home is sparkling, clean and fresh and ready for what you have been creating. The books have been tidied and there's a stew on the stove, bubbling with fresh vegetables from your garden and bits of hardy barley floating between. You pull the loaf from the oven with gloved hands, savoring the scent of freshly baked bread floating through your clean little home. Setting it on the windowsill to cool, you start in on your stew. Each bite is warm and sustaining, spreading down your limbs and invigorating you. and you find a gentle smile tugging at your lips while you eat each mouthful until the bowl is empty. The 9 raven feathers, the sparkling spider web, and now a perfect loaf. Such a productive day. You wash your dish and put it away, savoring the gentle clink of the dishes against each other. There's a fine black hat waiting by the door, with a wide brim that spans your shoulders and an elegant point, accented with a soft blue ribbon. It fits snug on your head, so it won't blow off. And broom in hand, you leave your cabin rested and recharged, taking off into the dying sunlight. There is a whoosh as the air below you rises up, and you soar like a bird. The ground grows smaller, and the trees look like shrubs. And the pale moon rises up to greet you like an old friend. You smile and grip your handle, starting your trip across the woods. The wind whips through your hair, caressing you in a way a lover would. Your broom is sturdy and solid, holding you with care and grace. You can see the shift of the landscape. The trees thin and give way to flower fields, hidden valleys. And eventually, the pattern of cobblestone streets and small square houses appear below you. Flying higher to dodge the pointed roofs, you hold on to your hat, scanning the landscape carefully. Your broom takes you to the coastline. You watch the shape of the ocean against the sand, twisting below like a giant snake, carving its own path against the beach with the gentle roars of ocean waves. The moon rises higher, and you take a deep breath in while the tide rolls away, and a long breath out as the tide rolls back in. You breathe with the ocean, watching it pull the moon closer and closer to its apex. There's a release in your mind as you become one with it, breathing and feeling and being without thought, just observing the love that they have, that connection and pull that's older than anything on this earth. The tension in your shoulders releases, and the space between your eyebrows relaxes. Little pockets of stress you'd been carrying with you melt away with the sound of the tide. Then your eyes grow hazy and unfocused. The moon rises higher, and you feel the kiss of the wind against your cheeks. You're floating. You're a speck of dust above an endless coast, empty and free and open. Beholden to no one, you soar on your own power, your own time. There is no one else to make demands of you. Then your eyes flutter open, and you see it. A pillar of pure moonlight shooting up from the forest across the beach, soft and beckoning. Lowering yourself to your broom, you click your heels and begin your descent, enjoying the rush of air past your ears and the feeling of control. You are the master of where you go. The woods are dark and deep, and the light you seek will be harder to spot from the ground. But landing in the forest was impossible. When your boots touch the grass, you sigh happily, dusting off your dark robes and straightening your hat. The forest is green and warm, with bright red mushrooms clustered around the trees, standing at different heights like small, colorful families. There are holes in the large, twisted trees for owls and squirrels, and you hear the former hoot and echo through the woods like it's saying hello. The sounds are old, and the roots that twist up from the earth cast beautiful shadows on the dirt path you walk. Even in the night, your bag is heavy with your spoils, the beautiful things you've collected and cultivated. And you can see the shape of them in your mind, the finished spell that tugs at the edge of your awareness, breathing with a life all of its own. You've procured a scrap of black velvet, deep enough for what you need. Now, all that is left is the eyes. The path continues, and the trees seem to breathe with you, giving you space as you advance through them. You take in the shape of them all, your eyes traveling across the branches and trunks. And when you breathe deep, you smell pine needles and fresh, crisp air. It is so different from the forest outside your home, young and orange. This one is twisted and aging, beautiful and secure in herself, like a graceful woman who lived a good life. The dirt path crunches under your boots the same way, though. The rhythm of the sound only broken by you stepping over a root. The moonbeam you spotted above is glowing gently in front of you now, beckoning you with spots of light that flutter in front of you like fireflies. Each step brings you closer and closer and you feel your heart rate rise higher and higher with every step. The trees clear, and finally you see it in front of you. The moonwell. Forged from blue stone older than this coastline, the rough, circular shape of it sprouts up from the ground. The steps towards it are uneven. But you climb slowly, walking closer and closer towards that bright, pure pillar of light. The particles drifting through the air grow tighter and more compact. Then you stand at the edge and look straight up. The light and the night air mix into one concentrated beam of energy. A soft blue focus that is not blinding, but soothing to your eyes. It is the light of stars and the moon, and you let out a breath as you take in the sight of it, the heavens being brought down to earth. Reaching down to unlace your boots, you smile. And after bowing your head in silent gratitude, you gently wade in. The bright water sloshes against your ankles, and you leave perfect tiny ripples in your wake. You scan the clear water until you see them, right where you left them. Your heart does a slow backflip in your chest at the sight. Twin cut sapphires, floating in the water like fish who belong there, left by you a year ago. Your fingers brush against the smooth blue surface, and you hold the gems in your cupped hands like they're your last drink of water in the desert. Rolling them in your palms as you lift them from the water, your mouth opens in disbelief. They're finally yours. Looking deep into the cut sapphires, you can almost see them blink back at you. The perfect pair of eyes. You press a kiss to each of them. The ride back home on your broom is bathed in moonlight and good feelings. The satchel on your hip is the perfect weight, filled with perfect, careful things. It's been so long, and for years your dreams have been filled with this combination. These reagents for the only spell you've ever wanted to cast. The teal shingles of your cabin poke out from the trees, and you land carefully on the porch where you started this morning. The bread loaf is waiting for you, covered on the windowsill. With steady hands, you reach for it. Then lay out everything you need on your laboratory bench. A silver thread made from cobwebs, 9 raven feathers curled beside it, the freshly baked, perfect loaf, the black velvet, and 2 twin sapphires, left in a moonwell and taken back with love. You roll your neck, feeling the tension dissolve like the moon particles in the sky. The motes of light that guided you to the moonwell. Then you take a deep breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. The worries in your mind grow distant. There's a clarity in your head now, a focus and relaxation that quiets everything within you. The hum of your heart and the pumping of your blood seems to slow. And you're aware of everything around you. The clothing against your skin, the way your tongue rests in your mouth, the shape of the room and the flickering of your lamplight. It shines through your closed eyelids. The teasing warmth of your fireplace and the soft hum of energy from your laboratory table, calling to you with its perfect collection, the assembled pieces. Your arms raise, and the feeling travels through your veins and down to your toes. Your sock-covered toes curl into the wooden floor of your cabin, this place that keeps you safe from all things. Wind blows outside and a gentle rain begins to patter against the roof, reminding you that you are safe and warm. Nothing can harm you here. Heat curls around the pads of your fingers, moving down to your wrists, then along the lines of your forearms, over your elbows and into your shoulders, spreading to your heart like a fountain of soft, steady fire. The magic giving you what you want and need, reminding you of your power. Then the sound of the spell erupts from your fingertips, and you open your eyes to see the pink swirls of magic coalesce against the reagents on the table, surrounding them and passing through them, as if in quiet examination. You watch as the black velvet lays itself over the loaf, and the 9 raven feathers disappear into it, fluttering down like rain before they poof into nothing. The 2 sapphires nestle into the top of the loaf, then blink at you once. The spiderweb unwinds itself from your wand, playfully floating over and adjusting itself carefully, finicky. until it resembles the most beautiful set of whiskers. Then your cat familiar stretches, flicks its tail, and blinks up at you with blue eyes. Heart in your throat, you reach for it, and it comes to you. You name it then, and it purrs in agreement. You hold your new familiar and it nuzzles you, silently telling you that yes, it's here, and yes, you did a good job. Holding it, you can't believe how beautiful your familiar is. The fur is soft and warm and perfect. You know you'll be running your fingers through it for a lifetime. The blue eyes you made blink at you in quiet understanding. The depth of them is entrancing. Your familiar forms a perfect little loaf when it settles on your lab table, taking measure of you. Hi, you say. I made you. I love you. The cat nods as if this is acceptable. You know it has 9 crafty lives, and its long silver whiskers catch the light as it tilts its head and sniffs the smells in your warm little cabin. The familiar has a bed and some food and water laid out, and while you could stare at them, your little black miracle, all night, you're suddenly exhausted. Your bed is tucked against a wall and piled high with mismatched quilted blankets. They're plush and thick and promise warmth from the chill night air. There's a weariness in your body and soul from using magic and traveling. And after washing your face with warm water, you collapse against the mattress. Barely summoning the effort to pull your pile of blankets over you. A deep breath in, and your eyes close. A deep breath out, and the weight in your chest and the fluttering of your heart settle. Resting in your ribs, lulled by your breath and your heart, like the pull of the moon with the tides. There's a soft meow, and your familiar lands on top of your covers. Your heart flutters in your chest, and it crawls beside you, turning into a little black circle. Blue eyes and silver whiskers, shining in the dim light just for you. We're going to have so much fun together, you say, and reach out to brush the soft black fur. It's made of night things and moonwell energy, and you can feel that energy when you touch it. It's melatonin and the moon and magic, cool air and warm fires, blankets and heavy blinks. But sleep overcomes you, and your eyelashes fan against your cheeks, while your breathing becomes slow and even. You're not alone anymore, you think to yourself. And tomorrow you'll have a brand new friend to keep you company. The day will be filled with chatter and cuddles, cool evenings with someone to get warm with, someone to eat with. A smile tugs on your lips, and your last few conscious breaths are deep and long. Every inhale and exhale savored until sleep comes for you like the old friend it is, carried by the magical cat you labored over. If you're still awake, I'm sorry I wasn't able to make you sleep. I hope you have sweet dreams, and I want you to keep breathing, slow and deep and even. I want you to keep your eyes closed and your heart open. And I hope rest finds you soon. Sweet dreams, my friend. Good night.